All right, so on this channel, we talk about camping, prepping, and self-reliance. And I kind of use them interchangeably. They are a little bit alike each. They're all kind of the same, but they're all very different at the same time. And so in today's video, I want to talk about the differences, why I feel they're so similar, but also I want to talk about the differences so that you can understand kind of where you want to fall in all of this. And so I think the best place to get started, right? If you aren't a prepper, if you're not self-reliant and you want to be, if you want to be a prepper, if you want to be self-reliant, if you want to be both, I feel you should start by camping. Because camping allows you the opportunity to live off-grid. It allows you the opportunity to understand what you might need so that you can prepare for it. There's a lot of skills and gear and equipment that comes with camping that is exactly what you need when you are prepping. It's exactly what you need for self-reliance. And so I think camping is a great start. It's the best place to start, in my opinion, because you learn how to cook off-grid. You learn how to cook without a kitchen. You learn how to clean without a bathroom or cleaning supplies. You learn how to process and keep food. You learn about how different foods handle the weather differently. When it's really hot out, you don't want Hershey's chocolate bars. You want to make sure that you have a cooler with ice and how long that ice is going to last before the stuff inside that cooler goes bad. You learn how to preserve and process foods, again, without electricity, without a kitchen. You learn about water, whether you're going to filter water or you're going to ration the water that you brought. You learn how much water it takes to really take care of yourself and your family. You learn about different shelters and how to stay comfortable in those shelters. You learn how to live comfortably off the grid. Again, you don't need electricity to be comfortable. You don't need all of the modern technology to live comfortably. If you can do it out in the middle of the woods, you can do it anywhere. You learn how to stay cool, how to stay warm, how to start a fire, how to cook over a fire, how to, again, your prepper mentality is, what if I can't start a fire? I need to learn how to make my food on camp stoves. I need to bring a camp stove just in case I can't get a fire started. And so again, you go back and forth in that prepper mindset. You can literally go anywhere. You can camp in your backyard. You can camp in somebody else's backyard. You can camp at a park. You can camp at a campground. You can camp in a national forest. You can camp anywhere, right? If you learn how to go camping, you can literally go anywhere. You can backpack into the deepest, darkest woods and be just as comfortable as your backyard. You learn about sleeping gear. You learn about first aid. When you're out and your sleeping bag is 40 degrees and you're comfortable at 40 degrees and your heat goes out at your home and the temperature inside your home goes down to 40 degrees, you can just pull out that sleeping bag, you know what I mean? And you can sleep just like you do when you're camping. So even when a bad situation happens, you have the skills, you have the knowledge, you have the equipment to handle it just like you would camping. And so instead of situations being bad, they just turn into a camping experience. And that's why I think camping is such an important part of all of this, is because it does. It's a little bit of prepping, it's a little bit of self-reliance, but it really gets you started into the main meat and potatoes of both, right? Food, water, and shelter are the main concepts of all three. And if you can cook, take care of your water consumption, whether you ration it out or you learn how to filter different water sources, and you learn how to be comfortable in a tent or a tarp shelter or whatever kind of shelter you want. You can learn how to be comfortable inside your own home. Even if there's a giant hole in the roof, you can put a tarp over it. You can pitch a tent inside your living room. There's that gear translates exactly into prepping and self-reliance. And so it's even first aid, right? You pack burn gel because you might burn yourself on the fire. You pack Band-Aids because you might poke yourself with a stick. You start thinking about, what if I cut myself with my knife? What if I slip up with my axe? You know, you start thinking about situations that might happen, and then you pack your first aid kit to handle those. Because again, it's better to have it and not need it than need it and not have it. And that's a mindset that comes with camping, right? You want to take it with you. You want to have it. You don't ever want to use your first aid kit, but it's always something you bring because again, it's that prepper mindset. And so I'm a big fan of starting your journey off camping. Now, when it comes to prepping, personal preparedness, I think, is the best of the three. If I could only be one of them, I would be a prepper. The problem with being a prepper is it's so expensive. It's extremely expensive. And so a lot of people buy a year's worth of food. They'll buy freeze-dried food that lasts 25 years. And so no matter what happens, they always have it. They store water. They have different shelter options. Everything you might need in any situation is inside your home, stored away somewhere. So no matter what happens, you just got to go grab what you already have. You have a bug out bag, you have a stockpile of food and water, you have barter items, you have firearms and ammo. And we've all heard preppers say 2 is 1 and 1 is none, right? But when you're buying 2 of everything, it adds up. It's extremely expensive. When you have barter items, so you're buying everything you need plus more in case you need to trade it away, it's expensive. A bug out bag can easily cost you like $2,000. And the problem with it is you might never need any of this stuff, right? You might put in $10,000, be the most prepared person ever, and you may never ever need it. And that's what makes it so difficult for people to be preppers or be prepared, is because it is a ton of money. Now, why did I say it's the best? If I could be one, that's what I would want to be. If money was not a factor, it's because it's the most comfortable way of handling things. It's the easiest way of handling things, right? If the grocery stores run out of food, you just eat the freeze-dried food that's already there. You already have a whole year's worth of freeze-dried food. And so you just, instead of eating this food, I'm going to eat this food. When the lights go out, right? Power goes out, everything is dead. You just run your generator and you still have power. You still have everything just stays the same. The only difference is instead of paying a phone bill or an electric bill, you're paying a generator gas bill. Or you have solar power, and so you're just using the sun to power everything. And so it's just a minor conveniences, you know what I mean? Big events that I wouldn't know what to do. Like, how am I going to feed my family? How am I going to do this? How am I going to do that? People that are truly prepared, real preppers, it's just a minor convenience. It's just like, oh, power's going to be out for a week. Let me just flip this switch and run off the generators and the power backup instead of the grid. You know what I mean? It's so convenient, but to have that convenience, it's a ton of money. You have to have a lot of money up front in order for prepping to really get to that level where no matter what happens, everything in your world pretty much stays the same. So while everybody else is suffering and trying to figure it out, you've already figured it out. You already bought what you needed. You already have it all stored away nice and neat, and all you got to do is flip a switch or grab a tub and life goes on, right? And so it's a great concept, and I really like it a lot. And if I had the money, that's what I would want to be. I'd want to be a prepper, but it's just so expensive. I can't justify it all the time. So that leads us to self-reliance. So prepping is you spend a lot of money so that you can be comfortable. Self-reliance is you put in a ton of work so that you can be comfortable. Self-reliance isn't, prepping is also you put in $1 million and now you're kind of done. Self-reliance is a constant. You're constantly putting in the work, right? You're cooking your own meals. You're growing your own food. You're collecting your own water. You're taking care of your house and your vehicles. You're learning how to hunt and fish and butcher wild animals and fix anything. You're learning how to do things yourself so that you're not reliant on the grocery store or the mechanic or the plumber or the electrician or all the different people that you pay to do things for you. You do yourself. And so when the grocery store runs out of meat, right, you just go fishing, you go deer hunting, go elk hunting, right, you can still get meat. When the grocery store runs out of spices and seasonings, you just buy garlic and make your own garlic powder. When the price of eggs skyrocket, right, you're glad you made your own powdered eggs and you start using those powdered eggs that you bought before the inflation happened. You heard things with eggs might get expensive, so you bought eggs while they were cheap. You dehydrated them, you turned them into powdered eggs, and then you used those powdered eggs for cooking and baking while the egg prices were so high. And the powdered eggs last way longer than a normal egg. And so it's a lot of work, right? It does cost money. All of this stuff does cost money. Camping, you have to buy a lot of gear. You have to buy a lot of camping gear. Self-reliance, you have to buy a lot of tools and equipment. But you put it in, you buy a dehydrator, and the money that you save not spending an arm and a leg for eggs, the money you save not spending an arm and a leg for garlic powder, the money you save when times get tough and you can do it yourself, the money you save not paying mechanic labor, plumbing labor, electrician labor, right? All those labor charges add up, and it's a ton of money. And so while prepping costs a lot of money, self-reliance saves you a lot of money, but again, it's a lot of work. And even once you're done, even once you've put in the work, you've bought all the tools, you've learned how to fix everything there is to fix, you've learned how to cook all your own meals, you're completely self-reliant, you still got to do all those things, right? It's not like the work goes away. You are constantly going to have to fix vehicles. You're constantly going to have to fix and upkeep your house. You're constantly going to have things go sideways, and you're going to have to fix them and work on them. You're going to have to, like something's going to happen to your garden, and you're going to have to figure out how to deal with that. Something's not going to grow as good. Like your tomatoes might not grow. The bugs might get to the tomatoes. Then you got to figure that out. It's always something. You're constantly putting in the work, but you're constantly reaping the benefits as well. And so the bottom line, the reason all three of these are so similar is because they all have the same bottom line. And the bottom line is we want to be as comfortable and as happy as possible in uncomfortable situations, right? That's the goal. We want everything to be as straightforward as possible, as easy as possible, live our lives, keep a routine so that no matter what happens, we can just keep moving forward and we are not suffering, right? When we're out camping, especially if you go camping for a whole week, you'll notice all these things coming out. You can handle the ticks, you've handled the mosquitoes, but then you stay out there and then all of a sudden the black flies are a problem. You know what I mean? And so then you got to figure that out. And then once you figure all that out and you can stay comfortable for a whole week out camping in different places and different seasons, it gets easy, right? You're comfortable while everybody else is swatting mosquitoes, while everybody else is eating burnt food, while everybody else is not having that great of a time. They're all bored and don't know what to do. And you're sitting there playing cards, eating pies out of your pie iron. You're eating steak and eggs and you're living the best life, right? That's what it's about. That's what camping's about. That's what prepping is about. That's what self-reliance is about. It's about making sure that you're living your best life. Even in the most unoptimal situations, you can still live just like you always have. And so that's why I think they're so similar. That's why I use them interchangeably. That's why I focus on them a ton, because I feel they are very important, because I don't just want me and myself to be comfortable. I want you to be comfortable as well. I want you to be able to live your best life no matter what happens. And that's why I focus on all of these things. That's why they're very important to me. That's why I keep showing up and making videos about these things, even though you guys are sick of hearing about it. I will never get sick of talking about it because this is something that I feel everyone needs to know. These are things that everyone needs to understand, and that's why I'm here. So thank you so much for watching, and I cannot wait to see you on my next video.